You know that feeling? It's January 1st, you've set this huge, life-changing goal, and then by February, you're right back where you started. Yeah, we've all been there. But what if the problem isn't your motivation? What if it's your method? Well, let's dive into this, because today we're going to uncover a science-backed framework for making changes that actually stick.
It's a pretty universal feeling, right? You want to get in shape or read more books, maybe launch that business you've been dreaming about. But the sheer size of the goal just feels overwhelming, almost impossible. So what's really going on here? Why does that first burst of inspiration so often just fizzle out?
Okay, here's a really fascinating piece of science that helps explain it. According to research from author Charles Duhigg, a staggering 40% of our daily actions, they aren't conscious decisions at all. They're habits. They're just running on complete autopilot. We are literally creatures of routine, and that autopilot is incredibly hard to fight against with just brute force.
And this right here is a total game changer. For years, we've been told to just try harder. But you know what? The research is clear. When our habits fail, it's not some personal or moral failing. It's a design flaw. We're just using the wrong process. So it's time to stop blaming ourselves and start building a better system. Think about it this way. Instead of trying to push a giant boulder up a hill with all your might, what if you could find a small lever? Something that could move it with just a fraction of the effort. That's the core idea we're exploring. It's all about finding those tiny, strategic actions that create a ridiculously large impact. So what's the first lever we can pull?
All right, our first big principle is about finding that first domino. You know, the one small change that starts a chain reaction of positive behaviors, a lot of times without you even trying.
Charles Duhigg coined this term, but I like to think of them as power-up habits. These are the habits that give you multiple benefits for the price of one single effort. When you build one of these, you're not just changing one little behavior. You're actually shifting your self-identity and creating new standards for everything else you do.
And they aren't always what you'd expect them to be. I mean, sure, regular exercise is on the list, and research shows even 10 minutes can boost your brain function. But look at making your bed daily. Seems so trivial, right? Or something like meal prep. These little routines create a sense of structure and momentum that just spills over into all the other parts of your life.
This quote just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. Look, it's not really about having a tidy bed. It's about accomplishing the very first task of the day. It gives you this small sense of pride, and it encourages you to do another task and then another one. It's a tiny win that proves to yourself, first thing in the morning, that you are capable of creating order in your world.
Now, this idea of small wins building on each other leads us to our second really powerful lever, the power of compounding. And hey, if you understand how compound interest works in finance, you already get the secret to building habits.
It's really not about making these huge, dramatic changes overnight. I mean, that almost never works. It's about the small, sustainable actions that you can do consistently, day in and day out. Just like a tiny investment grows into a fortune over decades, the positive effects of your habits accumulate and create this massive impact over time.
And this just illustrates the math perfectly. Starting with a vague goal like read more is intimidating. But starting with read 1 page a day, come on, that's easy. It almost feels insignificant. But just look at the result. That tiny daily effort compounds into reading more than 10 books in a year. That right there is the magic of consistency.
It kind of seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? How can a goal that feels like you're doing almost nothing be the key to achieving everything? Well, the answer is actually in our neuroscience and how we're wired for survival.
So when you set a huge goal, like say, write a 500-page book, your brain's fear center, the amygdala, it can sound the alarm. The goal feels threatening, it feels overwhelming, and that triggers a fight or flight response. And our modern-day version of flight is just procrastination. But a tiny goal, like write 1 sentence, is so non-threatening that you just tiptoe right past that alarm system.
Okay, so we know we need to find keystone habits, and we need to start ridiculously small. But how do we actually integrate them into our already jam-packed daily lives? Let's build your blueprint.
This is it. This simple, yet incredibly powerful formula was popularized by James Clear in his book Atomic Habits. The beauty of it is just how simple it is. You're not trying to find new time in your day. You're linking your desired new behavior directly to a routine you already have completely locked in.
Think about it. Your brain already has these superhighways built for habits, like brushing your teeth or making your morning coffee. Well, habit stacking is like building a tiny little on-ramp from that existing superhighway to your new habit. You're basically borrowing the neural strength of the old habit to power the new one, making it feel almost effortless.
So let's look at some examples here. After I pour my morning coffee, I will do 10 push-ups. The coffee is the anchor. It's strong, it's consistent, it's specific. Or how about, after I plug my phone in at night, I will set out my clothes for tomorrow. See? You're leveraging a behavior that's already on autopilot to trigger the next positive action.
So let's bring this all together. The path to those big, audacious goals isn't about giant leaps. It's paved with tiny, almost laughably small steps.
So here's the crucial point. You have to make the new habit so easy you can't say no to it. Your goal for the first few weeks isn't about intensity. It's all about consistency. You just want to show up, even if it's only for 2 minutes. Do one push-up isn't about fitness. It's about becoming the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. The reps, they'll come later.
Let's look at a real-world example from the source material. It's about a woman named Sarah who felt completely stuck in pretty much every area of her life. She didn't try some massive overhaul. Instead, she just pulled one small lever. She started one single keystone habit. That's right, making her bed. That single act of starting her day with a win created a domino effect. That desire for order spread to her desk, then her schedule, and then her health. That one small habit built upon the last one until her entire life worked completely different.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. Big change doesn't come from some huge burst of effort. It comes from the compounding interest of tiny, smart habits that you practice day in and day out. It's all about finding the right levers, not just pushing harder.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. What is the one ridiculously small thing that you can do today? What's that one keystone habit that, if you did it consistently, could start a whole ripple effect of positive change in your life? What's your first domino?